Hello everyone, welcome back to Paris for the third group of the Formula E Road to Vegas contest in Paris. I'm Edward Hunter and I'm with my co-commentator and Road to Vegas driver, Remco Major. So Remco, excited about this third group. We've got a couple of friends competing in this one and a lot of other faces that will be familiar to people who've seen the previous groups today and also the Long Beach rounds of Road to Vegas.
Yes, definitely after round 2 and round 1 of this this venue, we've seen a lot of people end up in the wall. So it will be interesting to see again if people have learned from that, have watched the previous groups, and are actually going to take it a more calm approach. Mark Behrens, of course, we know from our group, and he has a very good setup, he said, so if we see him up on top at some point, that's the reason.
Yeah, not because of his actual driving skills. We watch in the warm-up, we see someone bin it at the last corner, which is kind of funny. But at least it doesn't matter because it's just a warm-up. Yeah, so let's just remind ourselves of what these drivers are competing for very briefly. It's the prize of a lifetime. It's a 10. There are 4 qualifiers. There's one in Long Beach, one in Paris, which is one we're doing today and tomorrow. Tomorrow's the final. We're doing the semis today. Then we have another one in Berlin and a final one in London as we're getting ready for qualifying here for the third group in Paris. And the prize of which is to go to Las Vegas and to drive on a fantasy track against the real-life Formula E drivers, all 20 of them. So the 10 best ones from these 4 races will get to go to Las Vegas and compete in that, and there's a huge amount of money at stake as well. There is a chance to win $200,000 if you win it. If you win it overall, it could easily go to one of the drivers, but hopefully one of the fans who's doing really well in this, so not fans but sim racing drivers as well. And yeah, there's lots of money as well for those who finish lower down in the top 10. So even if you just make it to Vegas, there's a good deal of money, up for grabs. And it's a really amazing sort of initiative and competition as we see qualifying getting underway, and one of our drivers, Nikodem Wisniewski, who finished 3rd in the Seat Leon Eurocup, another Cloud Sports series. He's going out on track now. So who else do we think is going to be a bit of a threat here? We saw in the warm up, is he here today? Yeah, I think
Holtzman?
Yeah, Holtzman was fastest in the warm-up. Do you see him in the timing screen?
Yes, he's at the bottom.
Oh, he's at the bottom. Yeah, he's just come out. Sorry. Yeah, so Holtzman, who is 3rd fastest actually in terms of the overall laps. Although we have seen a couple of guys do even faster laps. Enzo Benito, I think, set a 55.4, which is the fastest time we've seen all week in the previous group on the way to pole position. Although he didn't win, it was his teammate Ollie Piccolo who won the second group. And yeah, so. We're watching Peter Briljak now on track. Peter Briljak, another incredibly quick and talented driver. We're seeing he finished 2nd in Long Beach in the final there, 2nd to Graham Carroll, who's leading the championship. So Peter Briljak definitely in a great position so far and looking to add to his score and to cement his position in the top 10. So anyway, let's talk a little bit more about the Paris track that these guys are tackling in this qualifying session. You see going wide into turn 12 there. You just saw him cross the timing beam there. Now that is actually where the start-finish line, but the actual start is what we see Briljak going through now. Here, that's where the grid is, so it's a bit further on. It's a very unique feature of the circuit, and well, not unique. I guess you see it in a couple other Formula E tracks as well, to be honest. And yeah, it's like Buenos Aires, I think, which is not one we use in this series, but yeah. It makes it a little bit difficult to follow as we see Peter go straight into the wall there.
Yeah, he already made a mistake going onto the main straight where the start finish is. He already tapped the wall there, so it wasn't gonna be a good lap anyway. But what he could have done is just not stop pushing, keep your tires warm, keep your brakes warm, and then go for it the next lap. That might be faster than trying to finish this lap and resetting every time what they do.
Yeah, I think maybe also he went a little bit wide there. He's sort of off the ideal line. You're watching. You've got a better view of it than I have, Remco. But From where I was looking, that looked a little bit more. Oh, as we see Jesus Cecilia managed at the fastest lap in Long Beach, a very quick driver as well. He's also being it. So really, the drivers already pushing for all their worth here. So your comment about the drivers watching the other groups and deciding to take it a little bit easier seems to have fallen on deaf ears. And yeah, so.
But what happened with Jesus Cecilia is what is going to happen a lot, which we also saw in the race just now. It just cutting too much of that curb because you want to get the narrowest line, you want to hit that apex good enough. But if you go too far over it, you will hit that nasty curb on the inside there, which will launch you up in the air and make you lose ground, make you lose contact to the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we saw that happen in kind of horrifying and spectacular fashion to Jem Bollock-Bassi, just into entering turn 12 on the inside. He hit the inside, a nasty part of the curve you were just talking about, the solid white part. It's not the red and yellow bits. It just he flipped over. He was able to continue, but his car was severely damaged, and he had to eventually retire. And that was a shame for him. But it was probably the most spectacular incident we've seen today, and we've still got 2 semi-finals and the final still to go. So I have a feeling we're gonna see a lot of bodywork along in the streets of Paris.
Yeah, even though we do not want to see that, that is part of this competition. It's a big part because it is a street course with such a heavy car, which has all the weight in the rear because of the battery pack, which is about 320 kilos from my understanding. And just getting this car into the turn, when you commit to it, there is no way you're gonna correct yourself in the middle of a turn. With this weight, you will just, if you go in too fast, you will hit that wall in any way possible.
Well, 15 minutes of the session already done. It looks like Peter Briljak is the guy on pole at the moment with a 56.001, so
Still
almost
no
56 flat.
55.
Yeah, interesting. Well, it's still pretty early in the session, only 5 minutes gone. We've seen Peter binning it, obviously. And crucially, we've noticed a lot of the other guys who've been on pole, it's the second sector that they've been faster than anyone else in the group in. He's at 23.528, which is a little bit faster than Patrick Holtzman, who's fastest in the last sector, who's 17.308. But he is about, I think, a 100th behind, basically. Exactly 100th behind Patrick Holtzman in second. But behind him is Nikodem Wisniewski, who I mentioned earlier, a pretty accomplished driver in Seat Leons. He's set 56.132. Then it's Dimitris Parisas in fourth, who is a 56.2. And David Williams, a British driver who is from iRacing and Life of Speed, which you're vaguely familiar with, Remco. He's just been displaced, but he was in fifth on a 56.6.
As the session progresses, more grip will be laid down, and the times will go down as well. So Wisniewski put down a 55.896, which is the fastest at this moment. But of course, they will go lower than that.
And he's still not the fastest in the middle sector, although he's not far off of Peter Briljak. So I suspect that we've not seen the best of Peter Briljak yet in this session. But Wisniewski setting down a marker, first man in the 55s in this session, as you say. And Holtzman in third, Jesus Cecilia in fourth, and Parisas in fifth. So it's definitely getting into that top 5 in the race that will be all important. In qualifying, no extra points for doing that, obviously. As we just see Holtzman on a lap right now, 7 tenths down, so I presume he's warming up for the next lap. So do you have any other thoughts about this Paris track? Any other parts that are really easy to sort of catch you out, or good overtaking opportunities, particularly as we focus on the race after this session?
Well, of course, where the race starts, the first turn is where you can gain spots if you have a good start. If you have a bad start, there's a big chance if you do not defend on the inside, because there is probably the longer braking points on all the Formula E calendar. You will get someone on the inside there. Even in the race, it will be done on that first turn from the start finish line where they start the race. So not the start finish line where the timing starts and ends. Also, because that one is after a long straight, but also at turn 7, from the top of my head, there is a hairpin. Wisniewski is getting up to that hairpin, well, has gone through that hairpin.
Yeah.
And
we're just watching Peter, sorry to interrupt, we're just watching Peter Briljak, and he just missed out on pole there. He's at 55.9. Go on, you were talking about Wisniewski?
Yeah, he went through the right hairpin just as a normal line, but if you take the normal line, which is the fastest by far, you leave a huge gap on the inside there and you slow down a lot. So there is a lot of opportunity as Holzman puts down the fastest time with the 55.796. There's a lot of space to put your car on the inside there and just let it run wide a little bit so the one can't steer into the corner. That way you can get that position very easily, so you'll have to defend the inside there.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, very good lap from Patrick Holtzman, showing the pace that we saw him doing in the warm-ups and in the practice sessions, just being incredibly quick. Fastest in the final sector, of course, 17.125. But still long way the session. I noticed as he set the lap time, he went to the start-finish line and then just kind of went back to the pits instantly. So he must have wanted to sort of reset after that lap, which is a little odd. Don't see many drivers doing that. Michel D has actually set a fairly good lap time, 56.4, just outside the top 5, just in 6th place. And the D stands for, I'm reliably informed that the D stands for D'Alessandro. So that's Michele D'Alessandro, a man, not a woman, in 6th. And yeah, we're just watching Dimitris Parisas, who's the person in front of Michel, and yeah, half a second up on his time, and that's pretty good news for him. That might see him get into the 55s and maybe into the top 3 if he plays his cards right here.
There is still only one time which is not within a 1 minute bracket, but of course there were 82 qualifiers and 80 drivers could get through to the semi-finals, so we pretty much have the whole field participating in here who are also pre-qualifying. So that's also probably a reason why we see a lot more spread out times compared to Long Beach.
And yeah, Wisniewski is actually very close to Holtzman's time, 55.879, which is literally, as you can see, under a tenth behind Patrick Holtzman, the German. So Jesus Cecilia just ending a lap now, 3 temps down and starting a new one. To see if he can harness that fastest lap pace that he showed in Long Beach. Had a little bit of a troubled final there. So we switch on board to Wisniewski, who's going slightly faster. This looks like it could be a pole run if he has a really good last sector. Let's see what he does. Going into turn 12 now. Yeah, it looks clean. He's going right to the inside, and he takes pole. Good lap, and it's
only half a tenth faster. It's not a lot.
No, it's not a lot, but it's such the small margins that make such a big difference to your race here. And as we've seen in other races, starting on pole gives you such a big advantage.
And Holtzman beats it back again.
Whoa,
he does a 7.12, which is 0.038 seconds faster. It's going about nothing.
Yeah, this could be a really entertaining race between these two, because finally we've got a semi-final where the two guys at the top are very evenly matched. And as we're seeing, Cecilia also joining the party, popping into 3rd, again under a tenth behind. So yeah, the battle really joined right now. I'm not sure. It looks like Holtzman has just got the measure of his 2 opponents, his Polish opponent and his Spanish opponent, Wisniewski and Cecilia respectively. But yeah, that's a really absorbing battle at the front with only 7 minutes left of this session. And it's hard to say which way it's going to go. Peter Briljak has kind of dropped off a bit. Still about 2 tenths behind Patrick Holtzman's time of 55.712. But Michel actually doing pretty solidly. Only half a second behind Holtzman, and he's moved ahead of Parisas. So that's good for his prospects. Holtzman back in the pits now, so there seems to be a pattern. He's going in and out of the pits. He can't really do like loads and loads of laps. It might be he's just trying to recharge the batteries and do like 200k kilowatt laps, but I'm not sure if that's a huge factor here because it doesn't. You can't really run out of power in qualifying. It's never really an
No,
issue.
indeed.
Yeah,
I think it's just a matter that he's pushing so hard he does touch the wall at some point. In qualifying that doesn't matter, in race pace it does though, so it will be interesting to see how he will hold up in the race.
Yeah, we're watching Wisniewski now, who is almost a tenth up on his time. He's seeking that pole. You can tell he really wants it. He goes over the bump at the exit of turn 7 and down the long straight. He's coming up to turn 8. It's a very fast right-hander. You just flick it in and hope that you just skim the wall on the left and don't touch it. And this is a good lap. I think it might be a pole run as he goes towards the line. No. He's only improved. He lost a little bit in that final sector, and he's only improved by 4 thousandths of a second. It's got him closer, but it's not quite enough. Let's see what Cecilia is doing. Cecilia actually, it looks like half a second up, but slower in the second sector. So I don't think Cecilia is going to be able to do it. What else is going on? Peter Briljak gone back into the pits now coming out. Wisniewski also entering the pits. You see Cecilia remains in third, 2 seconds down on that. Arnold just thrashes the wall in frustration there. A lot of energy in that impact, but as you say, qualifying, it doesn't really matter. You don't want to get into bad habits for the race is the only thing.
Well, I think in a race you automatically do not take as much risk as you do in qualifying, so
and there's a warm-up,
be a
of course,
problem.
after, which gives you a bit of time to acclimatise.
Yes, that's a very important session for drivers after qualifying, as Holtzman put down a 55.591.
Wow,
which
Holtzman
is
flying out there now. He's really got a lot of confidence in that car. I wonder if it's set up helping him. Meanwhile, our man, Mark Lorenz from Formula Alex, down in 10th at the moment behind Miguel Ballesta, the man who finished the narrow runner-up to in the Seat Leon Euro Cup this season after the dramatic finale. He went into leading. So Mark Lorenz actually in some pretty good company down there. Not doing too badly at all, even though he's a second and a half down on Patrick Holtzman times, which are quite frankly really impressive.
Yes, indeed. People tend to forget that these are the best drivers in the world. If you're 1.5 seconds or something away from those times, you're still insanely good, and a normal person who doesn't do this very often will not be close to that. It's just...
Oh, Wisniewski right into the wall there. It looked like he just clobbered the curb and went all across the track. But yeah, your point, you're absolutely spot on. I mean, this was because they look far down the timing screens here. It doesn't mean that they haven't earned their place.
Exactly.
Cecilia on another good lap. Let's see if he can get the second sector together this time. He goes over the bump at turn 7, heads towards the time line. Yeah, he's still up. Not by much though. The closing section of this lap brings to him. Is it going to be enough? I don't think it is. He might get second here, but I'm not sure he's on a pole run. Oh, and he stops anyway, because he's hit the wall, I think. Just tapped it.
So with 3.5 minutes to go, the track still is increasing in grip. So will they be able to beat Holtzman from the pole position at this stage? We will see that.
I'll tell you who's really on the back foot here. It's a man we're watching right now, Peter Briljak. Started the session quite strongly. He's running a second in the championship. He does not seem to be able to get the laps together. And he's stuck in 4th place. I mean, it's not terrible. He's only 2 attempts behind.
Yeah, and that still means if he stays in the top 5, that he will continue on to
into the final. Yes,
into the final. So, and it's a quite comfortable 4th place for him.
Yes, Michelle D'Ambrosio no, D'Alessandria, that's it. It's still holding 5th place, but 6 tenths behind Holtzman. So that's a 4 tenths gap. It's not something to feel too comfortable about, but it is nice. It gives you a little bit of that mental.
And behind Michelle, only 100th of a second is Dimitrios Perisis.
Yeah, so
which
it's
means
tight
for the
place.
race it will get tight. If those two are going at it, there might be a 7th place Jakob Stramidlo. We will take advantage of it.
Well, I think just because the close call doesn't mean they're going to crash into each other in the race. But I like the way you think, Remco. And
Michel just improved up his time by about 0.004 of a second.
that seems to be the thing, doesn't it? Little incremental improvements as we have under 2 minutes left of the session. Holtzman still in a small but commanding lead, I think it's fair to say. And Parisas has actually jumped Michel in the order now. Yeah, so Parisas has set a lap time of... has he? Oh, I think that might be the timing screen messing us up here because it's not showing.
Parisas has done a 56.022.
Yeah, it's just updated now, yeah, on my end. Yeah, so that's...
Asperger just hits the wall again, going up and through the main straight.
Is Wisniewski on a good time here? I wonder. Is it going to get me any closer? Yes, well, it's an 0.008 of a second improvement, but he's still over a tenth behind Patrick Holtzman. That's not where he needed. Only a lap left to go. Is he going to stop and go to the pits? No, not a good move, Nikodem, my friend.
Well, he might be able to get... He is going for it to drive.
Yeah, it's under a minute,
fast.
yes. But he could have got maybe 2 extra laps in there.
No, he's not going to make it. Not.
Oh no. That terrible decision. It's almost like he wasn't paying attention to the timer. Indeed. Oh, as you see, Jesus Cecilia getting an all run, bumping into the inside there of turn 8, and then just pinballing into the outside. And that looked like a heavy collision, and it just shows how hard he's pushing, just to maybe shave that extra few tenths off, and it just didn't work out there. And that's his qualifying over, I'm afraid, because there's nowhere near enough time to set out again. We're watching Wisniewski, only 25 seconds to finish this lap. Unless he's got some kind of hyperdrive in the back of that Formula E car, he's not going to set another one. It looks like Patrick Holtzman is fairly secure on pole, unless...
Well, they still have Cecilia and Briard to worry about, because those can still finish their laps.
Cecilia just crashed though.
Aye, of course. Did he?
Sorry. Yeah, he did. He went right. That was what I was talking about. He went right into turn 8, as you see Peter Brojack really hanging out on the line there on his last lap. So let's see if he can improve here. Miguel Ballester, Leslie Oliphant they're done for the qualifying session, as we see Nikodem Wisniewski sliding the back out there on his last lap to try and ensure that he takes pole. Wisniewski, yeah, he's over, so he's not made it. Let's look at the order in a minute once Peter Brojack is finished, I think. Cecilia's finished now too. So yeah, it all depends what Peter Brojack's doing, and he is just under a tenth up. Is this going to make a difference for him? How far behind? Yeah, it may well make a difference actually, because he might be able to get into second place if he can hold this together at the end of the lap. Here we go into turn 12, diving towards the last corner. Is gonna no, it's not done it. He's still stuck in 4th place, and that's where he's gonna start the race from. Oh, yeah. So the order look like this. Patrick Holtzman is on pole with a 55.591. Behind him, Nikodem Wisniewski. In 3rd place, Jesus Cecilia. In 4th place, Peter Brojack. And in 5th, Dimitros Parisas. And that's the top 5. The top 5, remember, go through to the final in the race. So if the order stays as is, those are the guys who will go through. In 6th, Michele Michel D'Alessandro, sorry. In 7th, Jakob Strumidlo. Strumidlo, yes. I nearly pronounced that wrong there. David Williams in 8th. British driver. Spanish driver Miguel Ballester is 9th. Mark Burns, our good friend and cohort, is in 10th. Horst Wolfgram is in 11th. Leslie Oliphant in 12th. And Ricky Silva brings up the rear in 13th place.
As Oliphant just left the race.
Oh.
So we might be back before the warm-up finishes. So
fingers crossed. That would be disappointing. I mean, he wasn't in last. I mean, it's worth showing up.
He was second to last.
Yeah, but that's not last though. Is that him coming back in now? Oh no, it's not him. No, that was the sound of nothing happening. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Do you feel disappointed by Mark Burns' performance there? Let's rag on Mark a little bit.
Well, he did not get to his pre-quali time, which was a 56.7 from the top of my head, and the grip here was better, so he might just not
But think
have
about it. There's so much pressure on him. Everyone around him is crashing, trying to get the best time. It's no wonder he's 2 seconds off. And maybe he's been working on his race pace rather than quali pace.
Yeah, the race pace is the most important part here, because you can be very good at qualifying, but if you're not good at the race, you will not get those points and you will not go through to the final. And as we know from the last races, just finishing the race gives you a huge shot at getting into the top 5, because a lot of people will end up in the wall.
Well, finishing is easier said than done. And yeah, is that the warm-up finishing? So yeah, it looks like Leslie Oliphant may have been disconnected there, I fear, for whatever reason. I don't think he rage quit or anything. That wouldn't be befitting of Leslie. But yeah, we're just waiting for the race to start then, and well, the warm-up rather. They do warm-up lap, of course, and then the race begins. But yeah, I really interested to see how this top 3 battle goes, because all 3 of them look very evenly matched.
Well, top 4.
Top 4, yes, because of course Briljack, the second place man in the championship right now. We can
As
say,
Oliphant has entered the race, so he will start
yay!
the race.
Oh, good job, Liz. That might have been what they were waiting for. And the warm-up actually begins now. This is not the race beginning, so 30-minute warm-up. They often just do it just to make sure everyone is sorted for the race. Not really. They don't tend to run all the complete distance of the warm-up in terms of time. So yeah, we can talk about all sorts of things. So, what do you think will be going through the drivers' heads now after the qualifying's over? Do you think they'll be just preparing, just going through the little settings, or do you think they'll think of a bigger game plan in mind, especially the ones that qualified in the top 5?
They will all right now just go for that consistency, go for not hitting the wall, and just get that rhythm in. Because race rhythm is very different from a qualifying rhythm, and it's very important that you do not keep that qualifying rhythm of going so close to the wall that you are into it so fast. So, as we see people crashing into the wall right now, just getting
Is that turn
out
8?
that,
They're all missing turn 8, aren't they?
a lot of them are.
Yeah.
So turn 8, why you see a lot of people not...
Ooh, a little move here between Wisniewski and somebody else. Not that it matters, but that's very unusual. You don't see a lot of people making moves into the start-finish line on turn 12.
That was a mark. Mark Behrens.
Oh, poor Mark. That's his 15 minutes of fame right there.
Actually, in front of Wisniewski is Holzman at this moment, so we can see the difference in pace probably.
Well, one of them might be holding back. You never know.
Yeah, of course, it's always finding that limit that as Wisniewski actually hits that inside curve.
Oh, there's Mark. We're actually seeing him on the live stream now, and yeah, technically turn 7. That's I think I was looking at a time screen for most of the qualifying, but yeah, I think that's the first time we've seen Mark on stream. So hey, man.
But the reason
just
why
taps turn 8 there, but gets away with it.
Well, the reason why you do not see a lot of people using that escape route into turn 8 is because you have to commit to it. If you commit to it, you cannot back out. If you back out, you just go straight into the wall. So it's also you brake, and just after the brake you turn in already. So you do not realize you have braked too late or you steered in too early. You just cannot avoid it.
Yeah, it's a little bit like turn 1. In real life, turn 1 is a little bit more bumpy than in this game, I think it's fair to say. Because you remember Sam Bird fighting with Sebastian Buemi spun at turn 1 actually. Still managed to get going and scored some points, but that was definitely putting Sam Bird under pressure into turn 1. We didn't see we saw a couple of moves from the red line drivers on David Lee in the previous race, in Group 2. But we haven't seen a whole lot of moves apart from the start into turn 1. So, and like you say, with the runoff here, I don't think I've seen anyone ever use the runoff here. I think because they're all so committed, and none of them even think about backing out of a corner. And often
if you back out of a corner, you lose a lot of time, which is about 10 to 20 seconds. So you lose so much time there that you're not gonna risk that. But you also do not want to risk getting out of the race. But it's better to commit to the corner, maybe scrub off some more speed if it's possible, but just backing out is not an option for these drivers.
Yeah, I think the only corner you can sort of do it is one we see Demetrius going there. You see there's a bit of runoff there. I remember one of the Dragon cars in the real race, I believe it was Loic Duval, retired there last year and used the runoff area. But I don't think that's really allowed in this race to use that runoff area because it would just, especially at full speed, because you just cut the whole start finish. Well, I'm not sure it would count your lap though. I wouldn't know. But yeah.
A lot of drivers right now practicing that pit entry, which is very tight, and in the middle of the pit lane there is a 180-degree turn, which is so hard to get. You go in too fast, you end up like Wisniewski does now, actually, into the inside wall because he spin.
Oh, we've not seen that on the stream, but that's interesting. Mark Lorenz actually going fastest in this session with a 57.68. Yeah, that's interesting. That's encouraging to for our theory that he's working on race pace. Again, fastest in the middle sector, which is the important one.
Barris just goes faster by 1/10, but still,
not very much.
It's exactly the race pace is so different from qualifying pace. You can be a full second faster in qualifying, but then be like half a second slower than someone else in the race pace, just because he can hit those marks consistently.
We always seem to get so much. Occasionally, when they're really sort of, anxious to get the race going, they get a bit side by side in warm up. I noticed it's really interesting to watch. And
a lot of stuff I did with Mark before a race is just simply battling with each other.
Yeah, always a service start. So I think I think it's needed time for you to do the start, Remco. But yeah.
Exactly.
Encouraging pace from Mark Lorenz there in that warm-up session, but he starts down in 10th. That is a big mountain to climb if he wants to get into the top 5. But like the song says, anything is possible.
Exactly. In a warm-up, Wisniewski, Holzman, Cecilia were more practicing on pit entry and getting the pit stop right, because that's where you're gonna win or lose the time.
Indeed.
It's also probably one of the few places where you can overtake. If you get a strategy right, if you get a pit stop time right, you are very good. Holzman is actually off his grid spot already.
Oh, that's interesting. He sort of preempted the warm-up lap. Would that be Holtzman? Why is Holtzman?
No, it's Cecilia.
Cecilia, yeah. I was just thinking.
I sounded a bit wrong.
That's okay.
But that might be jumping the start, I think. But
well, we'll see what the stewards make of this. Is he going to reverse back in and pretend no one saw?
No,
I see people do.
He's being put back.
Ah, there we go. So hopefully he's not penalised for that. That would be pretty harsh to lose it before the race has even begun. Is that? Or is that's the warm-up lap starting, not the race beginning, is it?
Yeah, it really looked like everyone is trying to go. It's the race.
Yeah, it looks like the race. So no warm-up lap this time. That's bizarre. This could be chaotic here.
Was misplaced.
Yes, it could be. I don't think we've missed the warm-up lap, so it's just been skipped entirely, like real-life Formula E. It's like it changed the game in the middle of it. Anyway, Holtzman still leading from Wisniewski and Cecilia, I believe. Burajek in 4th, Parousis in 5th, and Michele in 6th. So, yeah, and Wisniewski starting to pressurize Holtzman going into turn 7 there. Looking very tight at the moment.
That was so much for me doing the start, but we are off.
It wasn't your fault, don't worry.
I know.
It was all Cecilia's fault.
But Wisniewski is about 7/10 behind Holtzman at this moment, so Holtzman didn't have a very jumpy start like Gregor Huttu did in his race, where he just left the field and continued on. Yeah, right now they are all in a train.
Yeah, that's the qualifying pace continuing on from these guys. I have a feeling it's going to become... We already see a little bit of a gap there. I believe that's between 6th and 7th there. Yeah, it looks like Cecilia and Wisniewski are going to have to play the long game if they want to get in front. And I pray to God, I'm just thinking about the inevitable fact that an accident is going to happen in this group. I mean, it's just, you can, as clear as, it's clear as day to me that there's just no way of avoiding it now as we watch
Michelle is taking a look on the inside of Parousis, but that's into the fast right-hander after the long straight.
I can see it just ahead,
That's where you're not going to make a move.
Yes, Dimitrov being pressurized by Michel D'Ambrosio. And yeah, it looks like he's just been able to hold on, but that's a lot of pressure he's going to be under.
From now we should really just call him Ambrosio.
Oh yeah, so did I mess it up again there?
Yes.
Oh dear. It's because there's a
Dave,
real driver, Jerome D'Ambrosio, and I keep getting mixed up with it. Although I don't believe they're the same nationality. So
the
inexcusable
drivers
mistake.
are quite spreading up, so it's right now looking who's finding his gaps there, who's finding his pace, who gets in the rhythm the fastest, and who's gonna think of strategy the first.
Yeah. So Leslie Oliphant, I think, because even though he outqualified Ricky Silva, has had to start from the back because of that disconnection issue that he had before the start of the race. And but yeah, everyone, no one seems to be getting into any trouble yet, which is a little bit surprising. Oh, as I say that, and Cecilia spins right in front of Peter Brojack, and Peter has nowhere to go, collects him, gets stuck in the runoff area, has to reverse out. Oh, which one was going to make it to the pits first? I think it's Peter, but oh, the other drivers did good job not to avoid him, and Peter actually continuing in the race. I think the damage isn't too bad then, but that was a dramatic moment there. And what happened to Cecilia? We ride on board, just entering into turn 12.
He locks up his rear brakes.
Oh, it's the rear brakes that are blocked up here. Yeah, so that's a very unusual. We don't see that often, and Peter Brojack had nowhere to go there.
Well, because of all the weight in the back, people tend to use a brake bias which is way to the rear. And if you get it too far, maybe change it before the turn and change it too much.
Jason Cecilia has just retired from the race, and he was running in third place as well, so that spin has cost him. And that's his race run, and that's really bad news for the Spanish driver, who's doing
That's
so
good
strongly.
News for Miguel Ballester though, because he right now is up into 5th place, which means he's right now on the edge of going through to the finals.
Yes, and David Williams not far behind him either, so good UK driver threatening to get past the Spanish driver if he plays his cards right. But anyway, yeah, so I was just, like I said, it's inevitable something somewhere is going to go wrong for somebody, and on that occasion it was just, I think Peter Brojack, an innocent victim of that, and I wouldn't be surprised if the stewards had a little bit of investigation into because they tend to look at those kind of incidents and apportion blame. And I think there could be more pain for Cecilia incoming, but I do feel sorry for him because it's so easy to make a mistake like that.
On the back straight, it's Michel D again, very close behind Dimitrios Paris.
Oh, but now Michel D in a stronger position now, with one car ahead eliminated, so I wonder if Michel is actually going to try and is he going to hold back for a bit and then maybe attack Paris in the later stages? Because if you think about it, if you're in the top 5, no need to risk it. As we see someone slowing, is that
it is Leslie Oliphant, who is already a lap down. Once you said nobody was getting into trouble, I already noticed he was 53 seconds behind. So
well, he wasn't in trouble. He was out of the way.
Okay, good point.
Yeah, but that's not encouraging for Leslie Oliphant, and he's just got to hope that chaos happens up ahead that might see him inch closer to a spot in the final.
There is a train forming behind Ballester with David Williams and Stu Midlow getting closer to him.
Oh! Did you see that? Miguel Ballester locking up a bit and nearly catching out David Williams. So David Williams needs to really watch out here, make sure he doesn't get involved in another incident with another Spanish driver's incident, but he's profited so far, and he knows he may push quite hard.
Let's go very close to the walls there, which is very risky, and also very risky for Williams, because if Ballester hits his wall wrong and comes to a standstill, he will be the first one to end up in his rear, because he will not be able to avoid it.
Yeah, he'll have the same thing that happened to Brojack. Peter Brojack's still running in 9th place, by the way, a couple of places behind. Mark Barin's actually up into 8th, just ahead of him.
But that also means that the Brojack is probably gonna make a move on Mark Behrens.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a front nose, so how is he gonna do that?
Oh well,
he will find a way, probably.
I mean, Peter Brojack, he was so accomplished in the Long Beach final. I think I wouldn't put it past him to try a cheeky move on Mark. So we'll have to see how that develops. But we're watching the battle with
he is very close.
We're watching Stramidlo chasing David Williams and Miguel Ballester for that 5th place. And all of these guys know that there's a chance in the finals, there's a spot in the finals up for grabs for all 3 of them, but they just need to get past one another and make sure they don't trip over one another. So, and like you say, Miguel Ballester desperately trying to build a gap to David Williams, and by pushing really hard, it could easily backfire if there's a little bit of inattention, a little bit of...
Strumidlo is taking a look, is weaving a bit behind Williams. Does he try him? No, he does not make a move, but he is thinking about it.
David Williams needs to maybe think about driving a bit more defensively here, because 6th place, you're on the cusp. If you can just hold it and maybe hope for something wrong to happen to Holtzman, Wisniewski, or Parisas or Michel ahead, then he might be able to not have to, you know, fight Ballester too hard. And risk maybe losing a place to Strumidlo in the process. As we see something going on overhead, was that Michel again challenging Parisas for 3rd place. I think going into turn 8, he seems to get a very good run on the straight, although, yeah, he definitely does, and he's not quite able to take advantage of it. As we go into lap 8 now, Holtzman still leading Wisniewski by 4 seconds, with Parisas 7 seconds further back, but then Michel is all over the back of Parisas. He's probably only marginally out-qualified by him and desperate to get back by.
Oh, there's an incident.
Oh yes, a huge incident. This is
Strumidlo and Williams.
Oh, David Williams and Strumidlo are stuck in each other. Oh, that's disastrous. How on earth did that happen? We'll have to see a replay as Williams is going first and Strumidlo has to... I imagine his suspension quite badly damaged by that and is struggling to reverse.
It was a lag. It was simply lag.
Oh, lag! Oh, that's so unlucky for both drivers. I wonder if Williams lagged into Strumidlo, because Strumidlo finally gets going again, but it didn't look like it was his fault what happened there. And as David Williams emerged unscathed, and for that matter, what about Strumidlo? Is that Leslie Oliphant he's holding up, or is that Patrick Holtzman lapping him? That must be Holtzman, I think. Because, yeah, the 5-second gap to Nikodem Wisniewski.
Meanwhile, Brock is really getting up close to Mark Behrens right now on the back straight, going up to the fast right.
After that, Mark Behrens continuing his meteoric rise for other people's mistakes, getting into 6th place, right behind. Now he's the one 3 seconds behind Miguel Ballester, but he's got Peter Briljack, who's just got past him there.
Oh,
and Peter Briljack without a front wing. So is Peter Briljack going to be able to hold up? Oh no, he hasn't actually.
Mark touched the wall going onto the long straight, and this gave the opportunity for Brock to really close in on him, and he actually overtook him on the outside.
Wow, brilliant move by Briljack. It's a shame we didn't quite see that on through. Maybe we might get a short replay
Mark
of it.
is fighting back. He's still up on the back of
this isn't over as we see Strumidlo going into the pits, I fear, with terminal damage from that lag. Not really anyone's fault that, but you just have to say really unlucky, and it's hurt David Williams' race as well. I hope there's no unnecessary penalties from it. As we see Behrens starting to drop back a little bit. Come on, Mark, you can catch up, you can recover. Michel D'Alessandro still challenging Parisas for 3rd place. It's right behind it. Do you think maybe, like I said earlier, do you think Michel should back off a bit at this point, because it's still a bit crazy, still all sorts of incidents happening around? Maybe he might be a bit better off just biding his time and not trying to constantly make a move. Who's this? This looks like it can't be Cecilia. He's gone. So what are we watching the replay?
Strumidlo is stopping on the track and is actually retiring. He has a suspension. He had suspension damage and did not get repaired.
Crapping? Oh dear. Yeah, that's terrible luck, and something that we've seen happen once or twice in some other finals as well. It's just, and it's a shame because it wasn't even his fault this time as well, and he was running so strongly. But that's racing. Sometimes you just get unlucky. The car ahead completely stopped on him. David Williams, incidentally, still running in this race in 9th place, but second to last. So only 10 runners still remaining. Holtzman untroubled at the front. 6 seconds gap to. Actually, Leslie Oliphant is still running. Sorry, I almost forgot about Leslie. That was bad of me. So Wisniewski 6 seconds behind Holtzman in the lead. 8 seconds now, according to the live timing. Parisas is 7 seconds behind Wisniewski. Michel still under half a second behind Parisas, still pushing him, trying to force a mistake. And I'm not sure if that's going to come off, because Parisas seems to be holding the pressure so far. Miguel Ballester, despite all the carnage going on either behind him or in front of him, managing to sneak into that 5th place with Peter Briljack in 6th and Mark Behrens in 7th.
Brock is closing in on Ballester though, so that might end up, definitely after the pit stops, end up in a good battle.
Yeah, we've got to hope that Mark can maybe put up a bit of a fight because there is a 5th place at stake if something crazy happens up ahead.
Maybe a good strategy can help out here.
Yeah, I wonder how long Mark will stay out. But I'm amazed that Peter Brildrak has been able to, drive with such verve and tenacity despite the damage to his car and the front wing. And
was it one of the Ed Scheffler cars who lost the rear wing and put down the fastest first sector directly after that?
You mean at Hong Kong?
Yes, Hong Kong.
Daniel Abt, of course. But I don't think he set the fastest lap in the end. That was Felix Rosenqvist in that particular race. But you're right.
Oh, Mark hits the wall.
Oh no, Mark! What have you done? Is he okay? Is he taking
damage?
Well,
he's still driving. It looked like he has taken damage, but I'm not entirely sure.
Right. Well, we'll have to see. He seems to be continuing, not crapping too badly down the straight, but that's definitely not what he needed. Scary, scary moment for Mark Burns there as he chases Peter Brildrak, and maybe not sure if he ran out of room or just ran out of talent there, but I'm sure.
Well, in the fast right-hander, that tire barrier is sticking out only a little bit, but it's just enough that if you clip it, it pulls your front into the wall.
Yeah. So the real battle going on here is between Michel D'Alessandro and Dimitrios Paris, and Paris, sorry. And I need to call him Paris, but he's not named after the thing. It's just the way it shortens it in the on-screen box on the graphic. And yeah, this is the real exciting fight because he doesn't seem to be able to shake Michel, even though Michel cannot get past.
Michel is very close at the end of the straight, but it's just too far to make that dive bomb.
Yeah, he definitely seems to be stronger in certain sections, whereas it looks like Paris has the upper hand in others. Yeah, definitely a huge gap at the front now. 8 seconds after 14 laps is the lead that Holtzman has over Wisniewski. So that must be a little bit demoralising for Wisniewski. It's only really a 2-horse race at the front now, but I can't. Holtzman seems to be in a great rhythm, so I think something
meanwhile, Briak
absolutely
is
crazy
up into the gearbox of Ballester. Ballester is actually making a defensive move on the long straight, at the back straight, but over here you cannot overtake into that fast right-hander.
Yes, we're riding on board with Peter Brildrak now, and yeah, you're right. He's rapidly closed on. He's shown his quality after that. He caught up in Cecilia's incident, and he's rapidly caught up to the back of Ballester. Ballester, no slouch himself. Remember, narrow runner-up in the Cert Leon Euro Cup this season, and
he's going defensive. This means that Briak is really close enough, and he's putting up the pressure. But I think that he needs the same mistake as Mark Behrens made, where Ballester needs to make a mistake and touch the wall, maybe going onto the long straight for him to get that advantage, because he does not have the front wing.
Oh, is he going to go down the inside? There's no room there, Peter. Oh, and in the wall. Is Mark Behrens going to be able to avoid him or even get past? He's a little bit far behind. He's got the momentum. Is he going to try on the outside? No, not quite. But he's going to go down the hairpin. Oh, he didn't see him. And there's contact again, and Mark Behrens. Oh,
Mark Behrens
just about enough room.
Mark Behrens went full on his brake as he noticed that he was just steering in.
Yeah, but Peter Brildrak, I think, trying to do he did a very good move on Mark Behrens, but then he got a bit too ambitious. I think tried to make the move too early. Didn't have without his front wing, suffered a bit too much understeer, and I think caused 2 very nearly dangerous incidents there. But somehow has gotten away with it.
Well, he has gotten away with it because Mark hit his brakes. If Mark really committed to the move, and if he continued it, Briak would have been just backwards.
David Williams has entered the pits now, so I presume, because this is very early to pit, I presume he has made another mistake and is pitting to repair damage. So, well, I say another mistake. It wasn't really a mistake.
Oh, he doesn't have a rear wing.
Yeah, that says to me that someone has hit him in the back, or he has spun into something. There's someone else coming in there as well. Oliphant, yeah. But I think, Leslie Oliphant, his pit stop is of very little consequence at the moment. 10-second lead for Holtzman up front. Michel still right behind Parisius, and just desperate to get past. You can just feel that he's just trying to be very, very patient here and not make a move like Brildrak tried to do. Just when he wasn't far enough, close enough to make the move, and desperately tried it anyway. I think a sense of a little bit of desperation to regain the places lost for an incident not of his own
Oh, he
making.
touches him in the rear.
Oh!
He's really pushing him and putting pressure on.
Yeah,
That's
Michel wants
nearly a
that third place,
BTCC move you see there.
Yeah, British touring cars. There's rubbing is racing in British touring cars. They all constantly hit each other, and somehow they don't always get away with it, as we see. And but yeah,
Oh,
was
he's going into the
Michel
pits.
bailing out. I think he's decided he's going to try and undercut
Definitely.
Bruce's. So let's hope that he comes out in clean air and is able to. I think this is a good strategy move from Michel.
Rock's still going on though, which is
Miguel,
quite interesting.
is that Miguel Ballester entering as well from
Yes,
fifth place?
is.
So two of the top 5 contenders pitting in now, and is anyone else going to come in? We saw David Williams come in. They should comfortably come out ahead of Williams, who's 60 seconds behind them. Holtzman still untroubled going up at the front. Mark Berens has obviously gotten by Michel in the pit stops. So currently Mark Berens, if it stays as is, he's going to make it into the final. But he needs a bit of luck there, I think. And what he really needed was for Peter Briljak and Miguel Ballester to tangle a bit more. He nearly was close enough to take advantage there, as we saw in that very tense and thrilling near collision. I think it was a collision, but it would have been a lot worse, like you say, if Mark hadn't applied the brakes. And but yeah, starting to quieten down now as you wait for the front runners to make their stops. Paris is in the pits now, and so he's going to drop behind.
Still not without front wing. He still is continuing.
Yeah. Yeah, Briljak is just going on. He's just, without that front wing, he's almost like it looks like he feels he doesn't need it. Is he faster? It might be a bit faster down the straight without the drag, I guess. But,
oh, it is,
I
but
think
you will get a lot of
negligible.
understeer.
Yeah, I would think he would want to pit with one of the earliest. I would be very surprised if he doesn't pit within the next 3 laps or so. I think it would be insane, and he must be losing time as well. Especially, I mean, it might be a bit of a honeymoon period where he's sort of catching the guys who are slightly slower than him, but relative to the leaders, he's losing time. And remember, the race time is going to contribute towards your group position in the final. And if Peter keeps going the way he is, he might just about squeeze into the final, but yeah, he's definitely running a compromised race right now. Horst Wolfgram behind Mark Berens actually, and because of all the pit stops and the guys staying out later, as we see things getting a little bit tight here. Nikitin Wisniewski being unlapped by somebody. And really being held up here.
There's contact, and
they have to let him
for
through.
A moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure who those guys are. I believe they are
It is
Williams.
Paris in front of Wisniewski right now. Behind that, it's Silva and Michel.
Ah, yes,
Michel
okay.
before Silva.
Yeah, so we're going to have to see how this plays out, because I'm not sure which of these guys have pitted and which haven't. I'm pretty sure Wisniewski, I don't think, is pit, and that's why he's running into this traffic of people who have pit already. Something we saw in the previous one as well with David Lee, staying out longer and then running into traffic. Oh no, becoming traffic for the leaders rather. So Peter Briljak in third, still without that front wing. It just looks weird without the front wing, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. I'm so accustomed to the new front wing design. Without it, just looks weird.
Yeah, and not even the way it falls apart in this game is weird as well, because in fact, because it's the new front wing bits don't even like hang on like a little bit. It's the whole thing comes off, and it looks more like the season 2 design again. It is just cosmetic. It doesn't really add a huge amount of, but the amount it adds in performance is extremely negligible. I think Sam Bird is pretty much the only guy who adamantly believes it adds performance. And see the work from a bit in Hong Kong, but we'll see how the season goes on.
As Wisniewski goes into the pits right now, Michel was already pushing behind him, trying to unlap him. So I think he just went for the pit to avoid an incident there.
Yeah, he was getting so badly held up there, and that's good news for Holtzman, of course, is that Leslie Oliphant, who's standing completely still in the pit lane. Holtzman should be able to build a big lead here, which is just what he needs, and that is going to help him in the final, as I said, because of his race time. He's able to negotiate traffic pretty good, and he's not been held. He's not ran into 4 cars
Mark
trying to hold him up.
Wisniewski is in the pits.
So Mark is coming behind Wisniewski. I'm pretty sure that Mark is going to emerge back in 7th place. But we'll see. Let's see if his strategy works out. Pitting on lap 23 seems to be the right point to pit. Although, saying that, I did say about 3 laps ago that Peter Brudrak was going to pit within 3 laps, and he's still not pit. So I'm not completely correct on my predictions all the time. Verons drops to 6th. He should lose based on
Oh,
McKay
Mark
and
did not have a front wing.
oh, okay, maybe that's what's necessitated the pit stop. He's had another incident with the wall, or he could have been in that 4-car traffic there. I'm not quite sure because we weren't quite following the chaos there that's happening.
He was not in the 4-car traffic.
He was not in the 4-car traffic?
No.
Oh, okay, so that's a separate incident.
Well, he rejoined in 8th.
Okay, so still behind Miguel Ballester. Am I right in thinking Miguel Ballester has lost out a little bit in the pit stop phase there? Because he's behind Michel D'Ambrosio. And yeah, we're still waiting for Horst Wolfgram. Yeah, Horst Wolfgram just coming in now. I believe he is the last man to pit. And actually, I was has Brildrak pit yet?
Has not pitted. Holtzman and Perjak have not pitted yet.
They haven't. Yeah, sorry, I got a bit confused there. That's only why Horst Wolfgram is so far up. But he should drop back down to about 9th or 10th place, or where, roughly where he was before. And
Oliphant went straight into the runoff at the hairpin.
Oh dear! I hope he doesn't. I hope he rejoins safely. But yeah, Leslie Oliphant, carrying on bitterly. I think just desperately trying to, because if he finished, he still scored points. It's not a huge run of points, but it still helps. And you never know. Maybe Leslie Oliphant can have a really good round later on in the season in Berlin or London, and maybe this result might help him with the best of 3 score, as we see Holtzman finally coming in at the end of lap 24. And is Peter Brudrak finally going to come in as well? Let's see. He's 43 seconds down, so we're going to have to wait a while. And Wisniewski 21 seconds behind Brudrak, so I imagine he's much further behind Holtzman. Yeah, Peter Brudrak still going on, but we'll see if he pits the end of this one.
He just goes into the last sector, so it will take a while.
Yeah, he's being held up a little bit as well by a back marker. Mark Berens has emerged down in 7th. I believe him and Miguel Ballester are a lap down on Holtzman, but that may change because Holtzman has just pit.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Oh, he's carrying on. Peter Brudrak takes the lead actually. So
without a front wing.
And he is right behind his back marker.
Right in front of Wolfgram. Almost an incident like we saw with Daniel Kies.
Yeah, and I wonder if Peter Brudrak is just thinking, well, I can nudge him because I can nudge him as much as I want because I've not got a front wing to lose anymore. Yeah, and yeah, but Holtzman's still only 2 seconds behind, just under 3 seconds behind Brudrak.
Yes,
so.
but will we risk an overtake on Brudrak, who doesn't
no
have
reason,
front
no
wing?
reason to, because Brudrak, the only reason it would be is if Brudrak starts really holding him up, and we know Wisniewski has already been held up. He's 15 seconds behind Holtzman. Paris's still in front of Michel by about 2 seconds now, so he has broken free a bit. And that is the top 5 at the moment. So I wonder if staying out so long is going to help.
Is going into the pits.
Yes, he's
right
going
now.
in now. Finally, I mean, he must really hate his front wing. Is my only conclusion. Is who's that following him in? It must be the back marker he was stepped by. It's Rico Silva. And,
we will see if Brock will just remove his front wing again right after he exits pits. Then we definitely know for sure it's faster.
No, do you think he's going to do this? What's the quickest way though without losing time? To hit the wall or just to hit the car in front? I don't know. I wouldn't advise hitting a car.
If you hit the car in front, you might as well win a position.
Yeah, but does anyone really want to drive like that on purpose?
No, of course not.
The stewards, they see everything and nothing gets past them. With 26 laps in, still only 2 retirements. It's actually, for today's races, that's pretty good going.
And they have learned from previous races probably.
Yeah, finally they've learned, haven't they? They've got all their most of the accidents out of the way. I mean, there were 2 accidents in this race. One of them was Cecilia spinning, which was, sadly, I think he has to accept some of the blame for that. And Jacob Strumidlo, who of course got caught up in the incident with David Williams, who's still running down in 9th. And, but yeah, it wasn't really either the fault because of the lag issue. So, lap 27 now, we are watching Michel D. still following closely in the wheel tracks of Dimitris Paris for 3rd place, but Chris is a Greek driver, of course, not a nation you normally associate with being strong in sim racing. But yeah, they definitely have a good community. I have a friend of mine called Chris who's from Greece, and he also does a lot of sim racing with me. But anyway, that's besides the point. And yeah, so things have finally died down a bit now. The pit stops are done. Entering lap 28 now.
And the closest right now is Michel D behind Dimitrios Parasis.
Oh, it's Ricky Silva getting the braking all wrong into turn 12 and about to be lapped by someone again. He needs to make sure
by Wolfram.
Yeah, Wolfram, who's not exactly.
He was already 2 laps ahead, but at the end, at this straight, he will probably let him in front.
Yeah.
If he's not going to defend.
I can tell you how
he's still in front. He's not giving up the position.
Well, it's he's being lapped. He'll have to. I hope Ricky Silva doesn't start causing trouble. Doesn't start doing Eddie Irvine.
If I'm correct, he is showing the blue flag right now. So
yeah, this could be that.
And right now no.
Oh yeah, he cut him off there a bit.
And now he leaves him in front.
There's another guy coming through.
Oh, he almost crashed into David Williams.
Oh, David Williams did. And David Williams, yeah, just not having the best of races after that lag incident at the start. But he seems to have recovered a bit from it now. Holding a pretty consistent pace, but not really a great chance to get in front. He's chasing Wolfgang, remember, in the order. He's only 2 seconds behind him, being held up a little bit by that incident with Ricky Silva. So, but yeah, like you said, the closest battle is Parissis and Michel. But Mark Burns in 7th is just 8 seconds now behind Peter Briljak. And Peter Briljak is 3 seconds behind Michael Balesta.
But he is faster, Briljak, than Balesta, so at the end of the race we might see them.
It could be a battle for that final qualifying position for the final, and
they will fight hard, trust me.
Yeah, they're both excellent drivers, I think.
And guess who's in 7th?
Yeah, I'm just saying, Mark Burns. So if it all goes, we saw them touch before. So if it all comes to grief again, then it's Mark Burns who seeks to profit from that. But I think Peter will have learnt his lesson from before. He's not an idiot, but he is very aggressive. So I think he'll. Yeah, as he cuts the gap down to 2 seconds now. Wow, it's rapidly closing. Well, I say that, but then it's gone back up a little. It's fluctuating a little bit. And we have 15 laps left, so if Peter is going to do it, he's going to need to, do it pretty sharpish.
But is he going to take enough with the amount of points being given out in this session? I don't think so. There are so many more points to be gotten in the finals. He will definitely push very hard to get into the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just thinking he won't try a silly move like here, where we see Michel going through now as he's caught back up to the back of Parissis, who seems to have lacked a little bit of pace in the last couple of laps. And yeah, I was just thinking that Briljak wouldn't make a sort of aggressive move if he wasn't far enough alongside. And sometimes it's very marginal, and you have to judge it really well. But yeah, Peter Briljak less than a second now behind Miguel Balesta as we watch the fight between Michel D and Dimitrios Parissis, which is still raging on. It has been the whole race. It's very engaging to watch. As Peter Briljak, now we see him closing in on Balesta, and Balesta suffered heartbreak at the Seat Leon Euro Cup finale last weekend. In the final race, he got taken out of the first corner while leading the championship by Nikodem Wisniewski, actually, who's a bit further out. As we see Peter Briljak pitting again, something has gone wrong for Peter, and that's bad news for Peter, but good news for Mark. That's definitely a sure place he's going to get. Yeah, look, his front wing is lying on the pit exit. He lost it entering the pits for some reason. I'm not sure. Did he go a little bit too far to the left? That's very strange what's happened here. But it's definitely destroyed Peter's race. He's no chance of getting to the final now, which is a big shame. Just as while we were watching, because that was a very
Did he use too much energy?
Oh, it could be. We'll have to see. I wonder what he's saying in the chat. We may have to ask him, or get someone to ask afterwards. But yeah, that was very weird, and I definitely looked. I think you may be right. Some sort of external problem, not of his own making, has forced him to pit. It didn't look like damage, but although he did lose his front wing in frustration as he entered the pit lane. But yeah, that brings Mark Behrens 1 place closer, but he is 14 seconds behind Miguel Ballester.
I don't think Ballester is gonna throw it away at this stage. He doesn't have to push. He is just gonna stick it to that 5th place. He doesn't.
But is Mark gonna push though?
Probably.
Keep in mind, we've got Carissis and Michel D still next to each other. That has got disaster written all over it if Michel gets really angry and desperate. But I think he's done extremely well to maintain his composure, and Parisius has done a very good job to keep him at bay as well, and sort of not make any mistake that would give him an opportunity. So yeah, a dead heat up front. But I wonder if Behrens is going to think, well, those two. Well, he doesn't know how close they are, obviously, in the cockpit. But he might just think, if he does know, he might just think to himself, okay, maybe if these two take each other out or hit each other, there's potential that I might gain another place. Or should I push really hard because I'm on the cusp and the race is nearly over now? Should I try and catch up to Ballester? Because if he catches it, we've seen him hit the wall before. It's a bit of a risky move. And Peter Bridgek's still in the pits, down in 9th place now. And yeah, definitely terminal for his race, I suspect. Whatever this issue is.
It looks like Ballester is really backing off right now. And Mark is definitely pushing. He touched the wall in turn 1 actually. Over start finish.
Yeah, this could be a bit of an exciting finish with 11 laps to go. Already we've got the obvious fight in front of us. Peter Bridgek exiting the pits now. Rico Silva coming back in for what feels like the 50th time. And yeah, but that's the 2 battles then basically. It looks like Wisniewski nearly 20 seconds behind Holtzman now. I do not see how even Nikodem Wisniewski can close that gap unless something insane happens with traffic. But Parissis holding off Michel, and Ballester still got a healthy lead. Yeah, I think he's just kept it stable at 12-13 seconds or so. But I think Mark Behrens, if I was Mark Behrens, I would be pushing for all I was worth now, because for all of us Formula Addicts, it's so hard to get into the top 5. But keep in mind, even if Mark doesn't do it, that's still a really good performance to sort of just stay out of trouble, and B, it'd be really good for Mark also to he's done really good for staying out of trouble considering the instance with Bridgek earlier on. And the thing with Mark is that if he finishes 6th, he doesn't get full 15 points and he doesn't go to the final, but that's still, I think, at least 10 points or so that he'll get. Keep in mind he's about 30th in the table because he also finished in Long Beach, so he's very good at finishing, Mark. But anyway,
yes, I'm not so much.
Yeah, but well, you're still a bit quicker, according to you. Yeah, and so the closing stages really. Okay, do you think Michel is going to be able to mount a chance to make a move on Parissis, or do you think Dimitrios has got the whole thing covered?
Well, I think it's no use for Michel to do that. Although I would, there's no use. But it's still a racing driver. You do want that spot. It's a physical advantage you are getting there, and that goes through to the finals, because it does also mean you start a place further up the grid.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they finish right next to each other, it's very likely that's where they'll start on the grid next to each other. So it's definitely that sort of urge, especially from Dimitrios, to maybe pull out a little bit of a gap. But by the same token, he's doing really well right now. As we see,
Michel is going wide.
Did he hit some of the plasticine boards there in the background? Because I saw them fall over. It might be someone else went up the escape road, but yeah. That's not going to help Michel at all. But should be.
No, Michel just went too fast into the turn and went wide and
missed his brakes. As we see, Rico Silva finally. I say finally, but it's a shame because there was definitely, like I say, good still points for finishing, but he's retired now from 10th place. So that means Leslie Oliphant should finish 11th, as if he can keep going. 10th rather. Leslie Oliphant will finish 10th, and he's behind. Yeah,
Wolfgram is backward on the track, and right after the fast right-hander, I already thought I saw him standing in Persis and Michel just avoiding him, Oliphant as well, but he's there at a very dangerous position. He is there for a while.
Oh no. Let's see, we haven't seen it on the stream yet, but so he's spun at what corner?
At the fast right and after the long straight.
Oh, okay. So we're just going to see Michelle and Paresis approach that now again. So yeah, can we see him in the distance, or has he got going again?
He has got going again.
Yeah, he's just got going. We just saw him pulling away there, I think. And but yeah, we'd love to see a replay of that little spin, just to see how it happened. Did you see how it happened?
Well, the way he was standing there, it looked like he did the same what Mark did, clipping his left rear tire onto the tire barrier, and just his front's being pulled into the wall, but a bit heavier, so he was pointing into the wall.
Yeah, I didn't take too much damage, did he? Is he going in the? He's not gone in the pits, I presume.
No, he's not pitting. I think he's very lucky to not have any damage.
Yeah. Even if he lost a wing, he may as well just do a brill jack and try and get to the finish with the few laps that are left. 6 laps, I believe. So, Hotsman starts lap 39 now, and he is 22 seconds ahead of Wisniewski. This battle still rages on. I mean, there's not a lot of overtaking going on between Paresis and D'Alessandro, but it's just really fascinating to watch them run so close to each other for so long. It's a sustained battle. It's always really entertaining to watch the different lines that the two drivers work, and just how you can just tell what they're thinking, just trying to outsmart each other, and just trying to not let that racer's instinct sort of, not trying to overreach too much and maybe take each other out, or they're definitely thinking all about each other and probably a bit less about the actual kind of what else is going on in the race. Anyway, meanwhile, Ballester has Mark caught up to Ballester. He's within 9 seconds of him, well, within 10 seconds rather. But yeah, in the 5 laps left, I don't think Mark quite has the pace to match Miguel Ballester. Unless Miguel Ballester makes some horrendous mistake, he should be the final finalist. Or some horror happens up front, like we keep threatening will happen. But I think we're done with accidents for this race. Fingers crossed.
Only Michelle and Paresis are really still putting pressure onto each other. If one of those even makes a mistake, Mark gets that spot. But are they
Leslie
really
Oliphant
going
retiring
at it?
now from 10th as well, so 9 runners left. Peter Bruljack at the back right now.
Oh wow. At the second group there were only 8 finishers from the top of my head, which is not a lot.
Yeah, definitely the finishing rate has been something close to poor to abysmal in some of these races. Not everyone's fault, of course, bad luck, sort of lag issues, but
yeah,
still.
This is sim racing. These are people all over the world, from Greece to I don't know, America.
Yeah, all sorts of crazy
South
countries. Peter
Africa.
Bruljack's from Slovakia.
Oh yeah. Back in the day we had people from Lithuania. It's just all...
Is this Wolfgram holding up someone?
Yes, it is. It is holding up Brock. Which is
okay. This is for position then.
No, it's
to not finish last.
Brock is 1 lap behind Wolfgram.
Yeah, but for all this is worth, it may as well be for position, because Bruljack is very fed up with how his race has gone. Two issues, one of which was definitely not of his own making, the other that
Wolfgram is just letting him pass. Hard.
Yeah,
he's just not having any of it.
Wolfgang is thinking, yeah, this is not a battle I want to get into. It's like, yeah, here you go. You can sit on the same lap, but you can't get past. And yeah, so the positions remain the same.
But with just 3 laps to go, it's still Michelle behind Paresis, which is probably the closest battle going on at this moment, and it's probably the only thing that might change.
Yeah, Paresis must be. I can't stress this enough that Dimitris Paresis must be under so much pressure right now for having the whole race. He must be starting to. It must be the temptation to sort of fatigue a bit. It must be so strong, but yeah, he's still going and still holding Michelle at bay, and I think that's a really good performance. Even though maybe you could arguably say, oh, he could have pulled away by now if he was a bit faster, but still, it's been absorbing to watch, like I said, and full power to the guy, just giving it everything to keep that 3rd position.
What might have happened is that Michelle has been behind Persis for so long that Persis has gotten used to the pressure, and then he got into the rhythm with him behind him. So it might be very hard for him right now to make a surprise move. Or Persis is right now so comfortable that he will not expect a move from Michel.
Yeah, but, you know, everyone down to four. Only Miguel Ballesta's not on the lead lap anymore. He's a lap down. So basically, Michel is the last guy on the lead lap, and he's the guy running in fourth. So it has been. This is a final where it's been really difficult to stay on the lead lap. And in the others, I think, although to be fair, we had the similar situation in the first semi-final where only Walter, the American driver Walter, was able to stay on the lead lap. Oh no, he was the only one not on the lead lap. He was 2 laps down. Managed to get fifth with no front wing. Walter Wedgeworth, that's his name. How can I forget? Last lap now. Patrick Holtzman entering the last lap, and yeah, it looks like a comfortable victory with nearly 30-second gap to Wisniewski behind. You want to take us through the finish, Remco?
Sure, it's still Michel van Persis for the last 2 laps. Holzman is 25 seconds clear of Wisniewski.
26 seconds.
26, even more. It's just as Wolfgram goes wide, for leaving a lot of space for Holzman to get past. But Persis and Michel are still close to each other. Persis in front, Ballester the last one into the top 5 for the placement of the final. Mark is still following up there. But
and here's Holtzman going around to finish. Yeah, and Holtzman takes the victory in the 3rd semi-final of the Clown Sport Road to Vegas Paris competition. And Wisniewski will almost definitely take 2nd. Persis will take 3rd if he can hold on from Michel. How close is he? Yeah, not close enough. It doesn't look like he's close enough.
Over here, you're not going to make the move, so.
Yeah, it looks like Dimitrios has done it as we see Wisniewski crossing the line, taking his spot in the final, the 2nd place.
Michel is backed off. He's not taking any risk anymore. He's not putting up
Miguel
pressure.
Ballester also finished in 5th with Mark Berens 10 seconds down. So Mark Berens will miss out, I'm afraid. And yet, Persis and Michel D both crossing the line now in 3rd and 4th places. David Williams is 7th, Horst Wolfgram is 8th, Peter Briljak is 9th, and the non-finishers Leslie Oliphant, Rika Silva, Jakob Strumidlo, and the luckless Jesus Cecilia. So yeah, that's the race. And dominant, but let's not forget about Patrick Holtzman, who struggled a little bit in the final of Long Beach, but yeah, you can see Les Invalids, the Parliament building in the background, I think, and well, that might be the other way. I can't remember. There's so many French buildings, but yeah, Patrick Holtzman, really impressive performance compared to what we saw in the final at Long Beach, and that really sets him up well for the race. A huge gap to Wisniewski behind. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Holtzman maybe challenging the likes of Gregor Hutu in the final. But yeah, Wisniewski also doing pretty well in 2nd place, even though he was a long way behind. And we talked a lot about Persis sustaining the pressure there. What did you think of his drive against Michel?
It was very strong. Having someone behind you can build up so much pressure, you're gonna make mistakes, but he kept his ground, and just, I think he got used to it after a while, and he just kept hitting his marks and not make any mistakes. So a very strong drive for Persis.
Yeah, but they both make it through the final, where we no doubt will see round 2 against those two. Miguel Ballester sneaking in. Do you feel a bit sorry for Mark not being just missing out in terms of positions, or did you think that he was lucky to get as close as he did?
Well, there were a lot of the DNFs over here,
well,
so he was lucky to get up there, but he definitely deserved that
Dimitrios
spot.
has lost both wings somehow. In celebration, I imagine. Oh, is that Michel? That's Michel in frustration. He's ditched both wings. Maybe trying to do the Briljak method.
In the middle of the pit straight, you have the 180-degree turn. One did not make it, and there was a bit of a stop up there.
Oh, good thing that happened after the race and not
yes.
Oh,
that would have been bad. Maybe Mark would have gotten into 5 then.
Yeah, but still a good performance by Miguel Ballester. Like, you know, he did a pretty good, a slightly better job than Mark just in terms of staying out of trouble, and yeah, I mean, you could say a little bit luckier in terms of being hit by Briljack. They both got hit by Briljack in the end, but Miguel sort of came off slightly better. But yeah, I don't know. I still think that Miguel has earned his spot in the final. Then we'll have to see. I think Mark can feel very proud of finishing in 6th place. Personally, I mean, it's as close as he's got. So let's see. Maybe if in Berlin or London he can go one better. But anyway, so that's Group 3 done, and we have our 5 finalists. Now we just have one final group to go, and that is in, I think in about 40 minutes we'll have our final. I suspect you may have to leave very soon, Remco.
I won't be there for next race, so...
Yeah, you would be taking part in it otherwise.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, but that was excellent anyway, so I guess it's just time to wrap up, and our Cloud Sport Road to Vegas Paris Group 3 semi-final, powered by Placey and sponsored by Placey and officially licensed by Formula E. So anyway, one final group to go with Graham Carroll in it as well. They'll land leading the championship. So we look forward to see how that goes. Goodbye and thanks for watching. See you soon.